Welcome back, man. This is the final lap of the series.
We tackled phones, wrecking focus, delayed specialization in sports, and how AI plus constraints reshuffle work and learning.
Also, 10,000 hours is a lie energy, but like with receipts this time.
The phone stuff was my favorite because it's so quietly brutal.
Yeah, the study angle where even if it's off, just visibility messes with cognitive tests. Wild.
It's like your brain keeps running the interruption simulation, even when the screen's dark.
Cognitive residue, baby. Your working memory is basically a roommate who never cleans.
And then people wonder why sleep is trash when they're literally tucking in with the rectangle.
I left my phone on a different floor in airplane mode, and honestly, it feels like cheating.
You've always done that? Or you became a monk after you had the kid?
After I had my son, yeah, I realized nighttime productivity and parenting morning chaos are enemies.
That efficiency era, turning darkness and quiet into a schedule hack.
Exactly. Like the last thing I read shouldn't be work-related, or I'm doom-scrolling my dreams.
But I do think phones are useful sometimes, right?
Totally. Useful like a tool, not like a slot machine your brain expects to pay out.
Sleep should not be one more notification away from going well.
Right. You're basically training your brain to expect residue as bedtime etiquette.
That phone discussion then slid perfectly into the bigger theme. What you optimize shapes what you become.
And that's where the Tiger versus Roger specialization story hit hard.
Because we love tidy narratives, tiny prodigy image, huge destiny, but the actual science is messy.
We eat exception stories for breakfast and call it strategy.
The idea that elite paths tend to follow sampling first, then specializing later, what's the real mechanism?
3 buckets. Match quality, injury risk, and then skill learning like language. Delay, then advantage.
And match quality is basically stop forcing early selection before puberty because you'll pick the wrong horse.
Premature optimization is the fastest way to turn potential into regret.
Injury bucket was intense too. 9 months a year in one sport only?
Yeah, adult-style overuse injury patterns in kids because one sport equals one body story.
And I loved the variability builds problem-solving angle, like futsal shaping faster reactions.
Phone booth football. More touches, hyperspeed decisions, no drifting down the field on autopilot.
But people will still say, okay, cool for sports, not for careers.
It maps, though. Experimentation builds the model of fit, not just skill at one task.
Which connects to passion too, right? Everyone asks how to find it like it's an Easter egg.
Passion is not a treasure map, it's more like a weather system you walk into.
You don't discover flow. Flow discovers you when you try enough weird doors.
Exactly. Engagement, curiosity, how do I get better next? That's the signal, not happiness on demand.
And then the Army talent-based branching story was kind of the career version of sampling.
90% changed career preferences after dabbling in 5 paths. 90% is not a small number.
It basically destroys introspection as predictor. You learn who you are in practice, not in theory.
Introspection is great, but it's not a substitute for failing at stuff.
That also ties into the grit research, where persistence got measured, but then they realized the real problem was match quality.
Grit problem got reframed as your system picked the wrong fit and then acted surprised.
And that's where the biggest idea in the work landed for me. Trainability beats baseline talent.
Yes. Baseline talent can correlate with improvement, but trainability, how you respond to training, can be the real differentiator.
So hiring should be less, what do they know today? And more, can they find the right training and accelerate?
How do you even measure trainability in a real company without turning it into astrology?
You look for patterns like fast promotion across functions, learning velocity, adaptability, imperfect, but useful.
And it's not just generalists good, specialists bad. It's that narrow reps can trap you via the Einstellung effect.
The cardiac convention surgeon away study, that was terrifyingly elegant.
Knowledge as a double-edged sword. You get fast and also stuck in your favorite hammer.
That's why breadth in teams matters too. Analogies expand solution space, like the Dunker radiation problem.
The differently experienced brains converge thing. Exactly why your audio mic story with the glue iteration was so perfect.
Yeah, we kept pitching solutions from our own worlds until the right one appeared out of friction.
And the creative cliff illusion part. People assume the best idea comes instantly. Then they stop too early.
When problem solving is real, you can't just trust your first lightning bolt. You need a menu and time.
That kind of dovetails into constraints, too, like why General Magic spiraled without customer boundaries.
Concept IPO energy. Building cool stuff without a customer is how you invent confusion.
And constraints create feedback loops. Try something wrong, learn, refine. Without constraints, you learn nothing.
Then AI enters, and the question becomes, what do we outsource so humans shift into strategy?
I'm not buying AGI hype, but I do buy disruption. And the ATM analogy was smart.
Right, fewer repetitive tasks, more branches, humans move up the stack, assuming we adapt fast.
And comparative advantage still matters, because AI also has constraints like energy and incentives.
Which loops back to the learning theme. Keep updating your model so you don't become a domain prisoner.
Don't be the "I've solved this before" surgeon on the birthday.
Yeah, stay trainable, stay forgiving, and keep experimenting before the world forces you to.
All right, that wraps our episode 2, final episode of the series.
Thanks for hanging with us through all the messy, high-energy learning loops.
Go build constraints, kill the bedtime phone, and let your brain breathe.
And we'll see you in the next season. Later, legends.
Welcome back, episode 2, and yes, it's the final one of this series.
We bounced from phones and sleep to sports development to diversity in thinking.
And then we landed on one theme. Trainability beats raw baseline talent.
The talented baseline thing is so counterintuitive, it actually hurts a bit.
Right? Because everyone wants a personality test that labels them instantly.
Like, hey HR, please tell me how fast I'll improve.
And the answer is, you can't really know until you try different training.
Which means hiring becomes annoying because it requires experiments.
Hiring's already annoying. Don't add "be a scientist" to it.
But the point is brutally useful. Baseline tests can lie to you about potential.
Especially when the world changes and your proven approach stops working.
That's where the medical examples were terrifying, like the surgeon on birthday stuff.
The Einstellung effect, too. Doing the same procedure because you're trained to it.
Your brain becomes a software update-free appliance. I only ship patch 1.0.
Exactly. And then the problem morphs and you're still stuck in the old map.
That's why breadth matters. More reference classes, fewer blinders.
And it's not just try more hobbies, it's variability in problem solving.
In sports, it showed up as early sampling instead of premature specialization.
The Tiger stories are so satisfying, though. Everyone loves the tidy narrative.
But they're basically an exception highlight reel, not the actual developmental distribution.
Meanwhile, the Roger path is way more normal, yet it's less clickable.
Clickability is the enemy of truth, my friend.
And the research logic tracks. Force specialization early, you risk wrong match quality.
Like you're optimizing before you know if the athlete actually fits the sport.
Imagine your kid being a future boxer, but you enroll them in soccer academy on day 1.
That's not development. That's roulette with extra steps.
And on top of that, there's relative age effects. Kids picked because they're older, not better.
Plus injury risk when it's one sport, 9 months a year, one track only.
The overuse injury predictor being basically one sport monotony is wild.
It's also why the diversifying bucket matters, not just doing less.
Diversify or die. Okay, that was dramatic, but you know what I mean.
Die is a strong CTA, but yes, balance your inputs so your brain stays flexible.
That flexibility connects to the phone sleep part too, annoyingly enough.
Because the phone isn't just distraction. It's residue on working memory and sleep.
The study-style idea that even if the phone's off, visibility nearby hurts performance.
That's insane in such a practical way, like your environment is tugging your attention.
So the hack is stupidly simple. Pad nearby, write the pop-up thoughts down.
Cognitive outsource, like you're hiring your own brain to do garbage collection.
Exactly, because you can't hold everything in RAM forever.
And then sleep hygiene, phone far away, not 2 inches from your face.
I love that you do airplane mode, like negotiation with the device.
And it made me think, trainability is basically the same philosophy as reduce residue.
Don't let old interference dominate future learning.
And don't assume your first idea is lightning that should end the search.
That creative cliff illusion is real. Ideas feel like they come instantly or not at all.
But solutions often arrive late, after you keep the loop open and iterate.
That's why constraints are paradoxically freeing. General Magic had no boundaries. Disaster.
Concept IPO, building cool stuff forever. No customer, no feedback. Classic pinball mode.
Breath without focus becomes brilliant wandering.
So you need breadth to generate options, then constraints to force selection.
Exactly. Reference classes for problem solving, then focus for shipping.
And the diversity in teams part was the same story, analogies from many domains.
The Dunker radiation problem is basically build a team that can see multiple lenses.
Like the dragonfly eyes idea, thousands of lenses, not one mental model.
Which is why microphones on different placements felt like a mini diversity experiment.
You mean same guest, 3 perspectives, better engineering by embarrassment.
Yes, audio optimization by social discomfort.
But it maps perfectly to work. If everyone shares your background, you'll miss the structurally similar analogy.
And then you hire for sameness and call it culture fit and wonder why you can't adapt.
Which is why trainability should be valued. People can learn what you can't teach.
Still, we have to be realistic. Some tasks need competence yesterday.
True, baseline matters for speed, but trainability matters for trajectory.
And trajectory is what AI disruption makes unavoidable.
The ATM story was a clean reminder. Automation doesn't delete jobs instantly, it reshapes them.
It turns do the repetitive thing into be the strategist who orchestrates the thing.
Radiology to Dr. House-style reasoning, interpretation plus decision-making.
So the question becomes, what can we outsource and what must humans own?
Even if tools get better at everything, energy and incentives still cap them.
Plus comparative advantage. Humans still need to decide the goals, not only the tactics.
That loops back to learning. Stay flexible, keep updating your model.
Don't become the I solved it once expert locked in a birthday surgeon timeline.
Keep the experiments small, keep the feedback fast, and keep the brain awake.
All right, that wraps our episode 2, final episode of this series.
Thanks for hanging with us through all the messy, high-energy learning loops.
Go build constraints, kill the bedtime phone, and let your brain breathe.
And we'll see you in the next season, Later Legends.
Welcome back, final lap of this series.
We dug into why breadth beats tiger narratives and how trainability matters more than baseline talent.
Also, phones at night, sports development, AI work disruption, what a combo.
The phone thing felt painfully practical, like instantly actionable advice.
I mean, it's obvious, but everyone still sleeps cuddling the device.
The research angle was the real punch. Even visible phones can impair cognitive tests.
Wait, even when it's off, visibility alone makes you worse?
Your brain treats it like a loaded gun on the desk.
Loaded gun is exactly how my mind feels around notifications.
That's why the pad nearby trick hit me, cognitive outsourcing, not mental hoarding.
Like when you get I forgot something thoughts, you write it down instead of rehearsing it.
Exactly. Stop trying to hold it in working memory where it keeps interrupting sleep.
Honestly, sleep feels like the only place we still pretend focus is optional.
And if sleep hygiene is ruined by constant interruption, you get a feedback loop.
Meanwhile, people say, I'll just go to sleep earlier, like that's a feature toggle.
Your story about starting that phone routine after your son. Perfect example of constraints changing behavior.
Parenthood is basically the harshest coach on earth, but also the most effective.
Constraints forced you to optimize. Dark, quiet, cool, and phone far away.
It's hilarious that no phone near bed sounds like a lifestyle hack until it becomes necessity.
Okay, but then we pivoted to sports, and suddenly it was like the same lesson wearing cleats.
The Tiger versus Roger debate. Classic. And you could feel how people love tidy narratives.
Tiger stories are the cheat code for storytelling, not necessarily the blueprint for learning anything else.
Because early specialization works in golf like a weird petri dish of a sport.
Golf is stable, repetitive, is predictable. Many real skills aren't.
Unique, horrible model is the nicest way to roast golf I've heard all year.
Then you brought in delayed specialization, relative age effects, and overuse injury data.
The injury predictor being 9 months a year of one sport, so blunt.
It's like your body files a formal complaint every season.
And the match quality argument, passion plus fit, don't force someone into the wrong lane early.
That's premature optimization. You're optimizing for a guess about future talent, not talent development.
The coach thinks biological maturity equals talent thing is so real and so fixable.
Relative age effect, being 8 years and 10 months versus 8 years 0 months is huge.
That means selection systems are accidentally picking embryos of advantage, not ability.
And we tied it back to trainability. Baseline tests don't predict the curve for everyone.
That trainability idea as the bigger talent than baseline talent, yes.
It's brutally uncomfortable for hiring because we love judging what we can already see.
Hiring managers are basically fortune tellers with spreadsheets.
But the practical take was, if you need speed to product, baseline matters. If you need growth, trainability matters more.
And you can sometimes infer trainability from how quickly people promoted across roles.
Promotions aren't pure merit, though. There's politics, mentorship, timing.
True, but it's still evidence of learning velocity and adaptability signals.
The broader theme was, don't lock in your model too early because the world changes and people change.
Which is why Einstellung effect in medicine made me wince.
When the best specialists were absent at conventions, patients died less because habits overrode new evidence.
Deep knowledge is a double-edged sword. Your brain keeps choosing the familiar blade.
And even birthdays reducing focus, 980,000 procedures, slight distraction risk with massive sample size.
That's the theme. Small effects multiply when scaled across real humans.
Then you brought the Dunker-like analogy story about diversity solving novel problems.
Multiple low-intensity rays converging at the focal point. Right, that's reference classes in disguise.
Basically borrowing from the scientific method, but with better metaphors.
And our microphone chaos was the perfect real-world example of iteration from different backgrounds.
Glue it to the guest's chest was an idea with confidence and zero ethics.
It was brainstorming, not surgery, bro, though the risk was obvious.
It also matches the creative cliff illusion. Best ideas often come later, not as instant lightning.
And that connects to constraints again. Focus the breadth until it becomes output.
Breadth is for generating analogies. Constraints are for finishing the work you actually started.
Pinballing forever feels fun until you realize you never shipped anything.
That's why the general magic constraint story mattered. Concept IPO, no customer, infinite cool builds.
Going public without a product is peak, we'll figure it out later, huh?
Later arrives, but the learning mechanism was missing. No feedback, no focus.
And then AI entered. outsourcing tactics, shifting humans to strategy.
I like the ATM analogy because it kills the panic. Tech changes the job, doesn't always erase it.
But it still raises the wage gap risk. Productivity versus shared prosperity not syncing.
That's the political part of learning. Collective action becomes harder when the factory is invisible.
So we need goal-setting literacy, not just tool usage literacy.
Exactly. Comparative advantage, trainability, diversity, and constraints all converge on one point. Keep the learning loop alive.
And the last takeaway for me was forecasting research. Foxes beat hedgehogs by updating perspectives.
Dragonfly eyes, thousands of lenses, sounds messy, but it's how you avoid being blind to change.
Our be in your comfort zone instinct is basically the enemy of accuracy.
And that fear question at the end, starting over versus protecting what's good, felt painfully honest.
Wanting constant becoming is intoxicating, but forgiveness is the narrative value to stabilize you.
That's training too. You can get better at forgiveness like it's a skill, not a personality label.
All right, that wraps our episode 2, final episode of this series.
Thanks for hanging with us through all the messy, high-energy learning loops.
Go build constraints, kill the bedtime phone, and let your brain breathe.
And we'll see you in the next season. Later, legends.
Welcome back, you glorious nerds. Episode 2 is the final lap.
We zoomed through phone distraction, delayed specialization, grit versus match quality, and trainability.
Also, we made Tiger Stories sweat because breadth keeps winning in the real world.
That whole theme was wild. Don't worship baseline talent. Worship how people improve.
The phone visible even when off cognitive test thing is so annoying.
It's basically like your brain still treats the phone as an active threat.
I'm guilty. Airplane mode, but it's still sitting there judging me.
Judging is generous. It's probably rehearsing your next notification.
The pad nearby trick is genius, though. Externalize the "what did I forget" loop.
Like cognitive outsourcing. But your brain thinks it's scheduling.
And sleep hygiene suddenly becomes a systems problem, not a self-control problem.
Exactly. If your day is interruption soup, your night becomes cuddle the sauce.
People don't realize sleep is the hardest no residues constraint they'll ever face.
And the timing matters too. Last-minute phone is basically a brain-loading screen.
You telling me you moved your phone to another floor for writing? That's elite discipline.
I started doing it when my son became my production scheduler at 6 a.m.
Parenting turns you into a stealth operations guy.
It also connects to the sports debate. Early optimization can be a trap.
Yes, Tiger gets the spotlight, Roger gets the sampling montage.
And you were right to push back. Golf is a weirdly stable learning environment.
Real-life learning isn't one lane. You need match quality and variability.
The football in the room thing sounded like hyperactive chess for kids.
It's like decision speed training. More touches, more anticipation, fewer easy drifts.
Basically, make the future's obstacles unavoidable, so the nervous system upgrades.
And the relative age effect is brutal. Coaches mistake maturation for talent.
Which means great junior team might just be a birthday calendar bias.
Then throw injury risk in. 9 months a year of one sport is a red flag parade.
The skill learning advantage angle was the sneaky one, like language delay that pays back.
Delay that disappears is such a counterintuitive superpower.
Which loops back to passion. People want the Easter egg passion, not the experiment.
I love when passion gets treated like a GPS location. You must be here emotionally.
But engagement is the real signal. Curiosity, flow, wanting to get better.
And if you're not curious, you're probably just consuming time, not building capability.
That's why trying with your girlfriend at the gym became an actual data point.
Watching her find the one class she loved and suddenly you're rewriting your schedule.
Fit matters, match quality again, even in relationships and fitness.
Then we jumped to neurodivergence. And it wasn't fixed versus broken. It was, what's adaptive here?
Yeah, people with different attentional styles can be selected for in the right environment.
Sit still for 10 hours is not a fair test of humanity.
It's also why teams need diversity. Your brain solves novel problems via analogies.
The Dunker radiation problem explanation, reference class shopping, was chef's kiss.
And the hilarious podcast mic analogy, 3 brains, 3 totally different hacks.
My glue-to-chest idea was instantly cursed by reality.
You forget humans touch things, especially guests with microphones.
Innovation meets wet hands. End of story.
That's the core. You want a menu of ideas, not the first analogy that pops.
Because the creative cliff illusion says your best idea arrives like lightning or never.
But better thinking is iterative. Ideas come later as constraints tighten.
Speaking of constraints, that general magic story was such a warning label.
Concept IPO, no boundaries, build whatever feels cool. That's chaos with funding.
The lesson was basically, envision a customer, even if you're wrong, or you get zero feedback.
Wrong early is still better than never learning.
Which ties into writing constraints too. Architecting the book so you stop shoving everything interesting in.
And then AI, it's not the enemy. It's just a faster pipeline for research and drafting.
But disruption is real, like how ATMs didn't delete tellers, they transformed the role.
The radiology point was interesting too. Automation won't remove doctors. It changes what doctors do.
Strategy becomes human value, interpretation, judgment, what's feasible for the person.
Also, deep expertise eyes can be a double-edged sword. Einstellung effect is terrifying.
The surgeons on their birthday distraction study, so small, so deadly in bulk.
That's the knowledge is a double-edged vibe. It makes you great, and it can lock you into yesterday's solution.
So if we're serious about being right, we need trainability, not just raw baseline.
That was the anchor. Talent at baseline predicts improvement sometimes, but trainability is more important.
As an employer brain, the hiring implication is spicy. Optimize for learning speed and adaptability.
Your LinkedIn promotion velocity proxy is surprisingly pragmatic.
It's like, if you can't get better or move, I can't trust your upgrade path.
And then serial innovators made the diversity argument concrete inside organizations.
Repurpose existing ideas, flit among domains, learn outside your lane. Don't strangulate that.
But you can't create them, only stop yourself from stifling them.
Breadth isn't a personality trait, it's an ecosystem. Opportunities, switching costs, and permissions.
Which is why the Tiger story is comforting. Clean narrative, easy emulation.
But humans don't learn like golf swings, unfortunately.
We learn like exploratory systems, sampling, match quality, and feedback loops.
And the real question becomes, what experiment are you running next?
Even if you're scared of starting over, starting is the training.
All right, last time we say it, comfort zones are accuracy's enemy.
And forgiveness is a skill you can practice, not just a vibe you either have or don't.
Thanks for hanging for 2 episodes. Now go design constraints and let your brain breathe.
We'll see you in the next season. Later, legends.
Welcome back. This is the final one, so buckle up.
We smashed through talent versus trainability, phone distraction habits, and why tiger stories are misleading.
Also, we somehow turned sleep hygiene into a whole philosophical crisis.
The core thread was optimize inputs, but don't pretend training is optional.
And the phone thing, people underestimate how visible but off matters.
Yeah, like even when it's off, the phone nearby hits cognition like a low-grade threat.
My brain needs evidence before I throw a device to another floor at midnight.
Fair, but studies with cognitive tests show phone dependence correlates with worse performance when it's in sight.
So basically, your working memory keeps a tab open like, what did I forget?
Exactly. Cognitive outsourcing, like a pad nearby to dump the popped-up task.
Not manifesting, just externalizing residue.
And then sleep gets wrecked because people go to bed cuddling the interruption machine.
I'm guilty. My night routine is just me scrolling, then bargaining with sleep.
Whereas, you've got the whole airplane mode sanctum, different floor and all.
I didn't start doing it until my son showed up and my schedule stopped cooperating.
Parenting as a productivity coach. Unpaid, brutal, effective.
That's why the match quality idea hit me too. Forcing specialization early can be the wrong fit.
Yeah, match quality isn't be a tiger by age 2, it's find the right training path.
Tiger stories are viral because they're clean narratives, not because they're replicable.
And the science says we should emphasize breadth first, sampling across options, then specializing later.
People only tell the exception because the exception is the only thing that sells.
Exactly. Roger Federer isn't as cinematic as Tiger, but his developmental sampling is kind of the norm.
And even with Tiger, the story hides complexity, like the environment being uniquely golf-friendly.
Golf is basically a stable learning lab. Most skills aren't that tidy.
Which is why soccer street training, small spaces, lots of touch, creates better variability.
Variability trains problem solving, faster decisions, and that phone booth reaction style.
And variability also shows up in workplaces. Diversity isn't decoration, it's error correction.
You brought up the Dunker radiation problem logic. Breadth of analogies drives solution quality.
I loved how you made it sound like a medical test and then turned it into mix the team.
Teams with only one expertise type are like one brain with extra chairs.
Also, your microphone anecdote was the funniest reference class ever.
We literally iterated on solutions based on who had audio experience, like live prototyping.
Which loops back to trainability. Talent baseline isn't the whole story.
The big one, talent at baseline, sometimes predicts improvement, but often it doesn't.
So what? The best hire is the person who gets better fastest, not the person already good.
Yep, trainability is its own talent, and it's more important when the trajectory matters.
As an employer, that changes everything, because you can't assume today's output predicts tomorrow's ceiling.
You also mentioned using promotion speed and cross-functional moves as a practical signal.
It's basically, if you move fast through departments, you probably learn fast.
It's not perfect, but it's less delusional than worshipping raw baseline competence.
Hiring based on vibes is bad. Hiring based on they were impressive once is just refined vibes.
And there's another danger. Deep knowledge can cause Einstellung, sticking to old solutions.
The surgeon's away during conference cardiac study is nightmare fuel.
Because it suggests over-practiced methods can outvote data when the world shifts slightly.
So knowledge is power, but also a comfortable cage if you stop testing yourself.
That's why the whole experiment process beats idle introspection about passion.
Passion isn't a hidden Easter egg. It's closer to engagement through iteration.
Yeah, most of the time, you're not happy. You're locked in, and the lock-in creates happiness later.
Flow is the best marketing word for I forgot time existed.
And AI makes experimentation even more important since careers won't stay static.
But AI also tempts everyone to outsource thinking instead of outsourcing the boring part.
Right, like ATMs didn't delete tellers. They shifted roles from transactions to strategy.
Or radiology. Tools can assist, but humans still handle meaning and feasibility.
The world still needs Dr. House, not just a perfect image classifier.
Although I'm terrified that strategy becomes a trendy word for paperwork.
Fair, but the better lesson is delegate tactics, keep goal setting human.
And goal setting includes what kind of world we want. Collective action, not lone genius building.
The invisible factory point is scary, harder to organize when everyone's isolated.
Which makes trainability and forgiveness feel personal again, not just career advice.
Because if you can update beliefs and repair relationships, you survive uncertainty better.
Plus, forgiveness is literally a skill. Practice beats punishing yourself with identity.
And that ties to your starting over fear. Building isn't enough. You must learn to not burn it down.
I know that impulse. When something goes well, your brain panics and wants revision.
But in both work and friendships, you need narrative values like loyalty and forgiveness to stabilize growth.
So the final takeaway: breadth first, trainability second, and don't let old patterns drive your hands.
And for tonight, phones off, pads nearby, start the next experiment tomorrow.
Thanks for hanging for 2 episodes. Go design constraints and let your brain breathe.
We'll see you next season. Later, legends.
Welcome back, episode 2, and this one ended up everywhere at once.
We wrapped up talent as trainability, plus why diverse experience beats tidy tiger arcs.
The phone stuff earlier stuck with me, but it blended into the deeper theme: memory.
Yeah, like if your phone is visible, it hijacks working memory during tests, even if it's off.
That's such an annoying superpower for the device. It still messes you up while sleeping.
And then you go to bed cuddling it, basically continuing the interruption past bedtime.
I loved your pad nearby idea. Cognitive outsourcing to stop the mental sticky note problem.
It's like the brain wants to keep things in RAM, but you can't treat RAM like a trash bin.
Exactly, your prefrontal cortex is not customer support.
And then we pivoted from phones to sports to careers without losing the thread.
The whole 10,000 hours is a lie vibe was really time alone isn't the lever.
The lever is matching, fit, match quality, and not forcing early selection too soon.
Premature optimization in youth sports is basically Destiny cosplay.
Relative age effect too. Kids born earlier get picked, and coaches confuse maturity with talent.
And then ADHD gets mislabeled as attention problem when it's sometimes just relative youth.
It's brutal because the system feels evidence-based, but it's really developmental timing.
Then you told the Tiger versus Roger story and I was like, stop, that's too tidy.
Tiger stories are viral because they're emulatable in one screenshot.
But the science keeps saying the norm is sampling broadly and specializing later.
And it's not less sports. It's diversification that builds problem-solving variability.
Like forcing kids to learn decisions at hyperspeed in a phone booth-sized soccer universe.
Futsal sounded like a cheat code, honestly.
The passion part landed hard, too. People hunt a single Easter egg passion like it's a GPS coordinate.
Yeah, there's no single true north. You try things, you get engaged, you learn what fits.
Engagement as flow. When curiosity about getting better starts driving you, not mood lighting.
And experimentation beats introspection because the feedback loop is real life, not journaling.
Then we connected it to grit. Consistency of interests isn't the whole story if match quality is off.
The Army example was terrifying. Big grit scores, but then they realized the real issue was fit.
Paying retention bonuses when the problem is people stuck in a mismatch is such an expensive misunderstanding.
It's like giving sedatives to someone who needs a chair that fits.
And this is where the trainability idea became the headline for me.
Talent baseline matters less than talent trainability, how well you respond to the right training.
That's such an employer reframing. Hire for learning speed and adaptability, not just current competence.
But it's also messy to measure, unless you look for signals like rapid promotions across functions.
LinkedIn stalking for trainability, my villain origin story.
Not villain, just optimized curiosity.
Anyway, the Dunker radiation problem and dragonfly eyes reframed group cognition.
The idea. Diverse reference classes give you more analogies, so solutions become statistically more likely.
And that's why your microphones tangent was somehow perfect. Audio experience, but for teams.
Different backgrounds iterating on one messy constraint until the winner shows up.
That ties into constraints versus breadth, too. Breadth creates options, constraints pick winners.
People think breadth conflicts with focus, but really focus is what breadth feeds.
And AI didn't change that. If anything, it raises the stakes on choosing the right problems.
We can outsource tactics, but strategy and goal setting still need humans, or at least human values.
Comparative advantage. Even if a machine is smarter, Energy and intent are still scarce.
Also, the people building it disagree wildly, which is hilarious and concerning.
Same field, same incentives, totally different destiny narratives, classic uncertainty.
So the most important idea we didn't dodge, baseline talent, is not the destiny. Trainability and match quality are.
And the counter-narrative, breadth beats tiger stories, because most paths aren't tidy.
Exactly. Because when you sample widely, you increase your odds of finding the training that fits.
All right, phones off, pads nearby, and start the next experiment tomorrow.
Thanks for riding with us for 2 episodes. Go build, don't burn it down.
And if you feel the urge to revise your identity, just outsource it to notes first.
We'll be back next season. Later, legends, take care of your attention.